Hey guys, it's Kevin again. Want to talk about anger today. This is the second time I've started this video because I got so into it that I was shaking the table around and thus shaking the camera around. Um, okay, anger. I used to be an angry man, bad, like really bad. I mean, a lot of you think you're angry. There's been two occasions where I literally was trying to kill people. I was very, very angry, and thankfully God, put a stop to that, and like had somebody there to keep me from doing something really stupid. Because honestly, I was on the verge of it at least twice in my life. Not even going to go into those because that's all in the past. I just wanted to say that as kind of a prerequisite to this. I guess that's not even the right word. Anyway, you know what I mean. So, anger, like I said, the first thing you've got to understand is no way, no possible way are you going to make someone understand enough to where you can fix them. The only person that you can fix is you. That is it. The only person that you can do anything about is you. People are going to do things that piss you off. People are going to do things that upset you. People are going to do things that irritate you beyond belief. Believe me, I know. This still happens, but first thing I try to do whenever I start getting angry about something, whether somebody snaps at me, they can be angry. That's on them. If someone else is angry, that's completely on them. I don't have to let them pull me into their anger. When I realized this, actually, at first it was a really selfish thing that I did, because I realized that being kind to someone who is angry at you pisses them off even more. So I felt like I'd won. But it eventually evolves into something, and that's fine. If you do it at first for that reason, that's fine. However you get there is good. Now, when you get angry, anger is not really an emotion. It's more of a reaction. Anger is a reaction generally to fear. It could be fear of anything. It could be a fear that that you love is going to do something stupid. It can be a fear that someone that you love doesn't care for you as much. It can be a fear that someone that you love doesn't listen to you. It could be a fear that that someone's going to think less of you. It could be there's just hundreds of different fears that it could be. First thing to do when you feel yourself start to get angry is stop. This is very hard. It's not simple, not easy at all, but it gets easier with time. You stop and think, okay, anger is a reaction to fear. What exactly could I be afraid of at this moment? Number one, we should never be afraid of fear. Fear is something that everybody has. Everyone has fears of one kind or another, but I try not to own those fears. To me, whenever you put the word "my" in front of anything, any negative word, you're claiming it and you're owning it. I think that it's a spiritual thing, but it's not just a spiritual thing. It's also a subconscious thing. When you say, put the word "my," and we're going to stop right there, and then I'm going to say some words that I never, or try to never use the word that I just said in front of. Fear, anxiety, guilt, depression. You can add any word that you want that is has any kind of negative connotation whatsoever, because once you put that "my" word in front of it, you're basically implanting that into yourself so that it becomes part of you. I don't like that, and I do not want anything negative to become a part of me. So that's very relevant to what I'm talking about. So basically, reaction to fear. You got to stop yourself whenever you start to get angry. Let's say someone says something, it snaps at you in some way. Now sometimes this catches me by surprise and I snap back at them. Then I try to stop myself and be like, wait a minute, okay, they're snapping at me. 9 times out of 10, I didn't do really anything wrong. Maybe something minor, but something else is bothering them. So, and I bet y'all didn't know this was like a therapy group or anything, but I try to look and see what they're at, and you know, that may be even a question you ask. What? Okay, let's calm down and talk about this. What is really bothering you? Sometimes this can make people even angrier because they don't want to look and see what's really bothering them. I have been on that side of it as well, where I just got angry. Ain't nothing bothering me except you. You're being a jerk or doing this or doing that. But if someone is that angry, the best thing to do is say, okay, look, let's both just sit back, calm down, and try to, you know, when we both calm down, then maybe we can come back at this with the expectation that we're going to be talking about this, so none of that fear jumps up on you and just like boom. I mean, it could be something that you didn't even know that you were afraid of. Shoot, whenever I was small, I was afraid that somebody was going to think, well, small, young, whatever. I was always afraid that people were going to think that because I was smaller that they could just whoop me and that I wasn't tough, and it really didn't make any difference. I've learned over the years it really don't make any difference. Who thinks that they can beat me up or even, you know, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me anymore. What does matter to me is keeping my calm, because to me now, that is, and this sounds kind of prideful, and it may be, I don't know, but whatever it is, it helps me, is to think that I don't care what people think about me. I mean, of course, there's the people that I care about the most. That's the hardest, is the people that you care about. The more you care, the angrier you tend to get, because the more fear that you have fighting you about, you know, any little thing. I mean, if it's your child, you know, are they going down the wrong path? If it's your significant other, maybe they don't, maybe they're stopping loving you, or they don't care about you. It's all irrational fear is what it is. And it's generally 9 times out of 10, it's just like the stress of daily living. And see, this is why we need God so much, because in the faith in God, it takes most of that fear just completely away from you. Because, I mean, if you truly have faith in God, then you know that He's going to take care of you, and you don't sweat the small stuff. You don't sweat over, okay, and I got to tell you right now, money's a little bit tight. But guess what? God is fixing that. And, you know, a bunch of things hit April and I both all at the same time. Vehicles messing up, you know, operations, illness, that type of thing. And, you know, it pretty much devastated us financially, if not for the help of one person in particular. However, you have to get this calmness and this trust and this peace in God, and truly believe that He means exactly what He says. He said, don't pay attention to anything. He said, consider the lilies of the valley. They neither toil nor sweat, and yet none of the all of these are more. And I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not saying it directly. And yet all of these have more beauty than a king. And the sparrows, God has numbered every feather on a sparrow, and they don't think about whether they're going to, you know, get their next meal, or whether they're going to get their water or anything like that. They don't worry about that stuff, because God takes care of them. If He takes care of them, then why in the world wouldn't He take care of us? He's God. He's our dad. You think our dad is going to let us get... But the thing is, he really can't do anything unless we have faith in Him. If we take it on our own and you know, try to do things on our own, then I'm sorry, folks, but it's just not going to work. There are some things that you can do. There are some gifts that God has given you that you can use. He gave them to you freely, and He does not monitor how you use them. He's given me a couple of those gifts. He's given each and every one of you a couple of those gifts. But the thing is, overall, we have to have faith that God is God, that He knows what He's doing, and that He's going to take care of us. Once you get that faith down, man, that blows most of the fears out of the water. I mean, the fears of okay, the rejection, fear of money, finances, fear that, you know, being a man you can't take care of your family, or being a woman you can't take care of your children, your family, all of this stuff. I'm not trying to, you know, gender define or anything like that. I'm saying it's tough. You go through some things a lot of times where, you know, you just feel, and the enemy will just come to you at those times and just pound you with it. Like, just send you all kinds of thoughts of oh, well, you're not, you know, you're not good enough to take care of your family. You're not making a good living. You're you know, you're falling down on this. You're falling down on that. You're doing this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to tell you, it's all lies. It may appear to be the truth, but it's all a bunch of lies. God's got it. He's got this. He's got everything. He has us in the palm of His hand. And He is more than ready to give us everything. Not only everything that we need, but a lot of things that we desire. He's done that for me. He takes care of all my needs. And then, you know, I feel like sometimes if I make Him laugh just right, or if I, you know, do something that's particularly pleasing, and I'm not saying doing works gets you things or anything. It's not even the works. I believe that it's how we feel down in our heart and in our soul. I believe, and I truly believe this, and no one will ever convince me otherwise except God, and I don't think He's going to try. I believe that whenever we get this faith in God, that, shoot, He just can't do enough for us. He looks at us and He sees, you know, He sees our heart. He knows. That's why I'm saying, and have said in previous deals, there's no reason to lie to God. He knows your heart. He already knows. If you're lying to yourself, you're lying to God. So search yourself, and this is the only way that you can control that anger, the only way that you can control that depression, the only way that you can control that stress, the only way that you can control, and all these things now, anger, depression, stress, all that can cause, depression, stress, finances, whatever, that is all the cause of anger. When someone snaps, 9 times out of 10, they got something on their mind. Now, let's say you're on the boat with them. It's kind of hard to ignore when they snap at you, but the thing is, you have to. Because if the two of you end up fighting, the boat's going to sink. So, if you want that boat to stay afloat and keep everything going on a smooth and even keel, then you have to look at yourself. Because you're the only one you can fix. No matter how much you want to fix your spouse, no matter how much you think or even know that you know the right thing for them to do, you're not the one to tell them that. God is the one to tell them that. I'm not the one to tell you that. It has to be God. But just listen for Him. I mean, He knows. He knows everything about us. He knows all of our strengths. He knows all of our weaknesses. And for me, that list is a whole lot bigger than the strengths, the weaknesses. But He has seen fit to show me how to work through things myself and how to change myself. When you change yourself, and folks, I'm honestly not in any way trying to be prideful or anything like that, because it's all God. God is the one that's done it. But let me tell you something. When you change in here, this side, okay. This is actually my left, okay. When you change in this side, in here, but not in this side, when you change in your heart, people around you will change. It's miraculous how much the people around you change. But the thing is you're not trying to change other people. You're trying to change yourself. You need to, and I'm, like I said, I'm speaking just from my experience and what I have learned. I had to change me before the things around me started changing. God had to change me, I guess I should say. But I had to allow God to change me before things around me started changing. But man, when you do that, you will be amazed. Just, I mean, amazed. And that's why I can barely get through one of these without crying, thinking about the things that God has done for me. And, you know, where He's brought me from and where He's brought me to. And I'm going to tell you what, it's amazing. It is truly amazing. He has changed me from an angry young man into a loving older man. Like I said, I don't even want anybody to remember that angry young man. I want him to be gone forever. Therefore, the only way that could happen is if I destroy him. He has to go. He has to die. It's a very uncomfortable thing to take a part of what you consider a part of yourself and make it go away. But sometimes it has to be. If there's a part of yourself that you don't like, then chances are that part of yourself needs to go. And the only way to get it to go is just through your heart and through God. And that is all. That's the only way to change. And like I said, I know that everybody's like, well, how do I get so-and-so to listen to what I have to say? Or how do I get my message through? Or why can't people see that I'm only doing what is right for them and all this kind of stuff? That's not the way to go about it. If one of y'all figures out a way to do it that way, then please, let me know. I think my number's on here. Most of you have it anyway. But it's about understanding where other people are at. And when you ask God for understanding, I've got news for you. You better mean it, because He will give you that understanding. I'd get so mad sometimes at God for not being able to get mad at people, because I understood exactly where they're coming from. But they did this, but I know why they did it, and it just makes me so mad that I couldn't get mad at them. So that was kind of a joke, but you will understand, or maybe some of you do understand exactly what I'm saying. But I asked God for understanding of other people, and that is when I started to change. And when I started to change, the people around me just changed. I mean, it's so great. And I don't even know that those people changed. Maybe they did, and I hope that they did, and I hope it was for the better. But their attitude towards me changed. This is the outward sign that I can see. Their attitude towards me changed, and therefore made my attitude a whole lot easier to keep under control. Kindness, love, you got to put those things out before you can get them. And, people think that you can do that, with like a grand gesture or whatever. Grand gestures fine, I'm not saying anything wrong with them. But it's really not the grand gestures, it's the little things that will let people know of the true love that's in your heart. And those things are so easy to do once you really get a grip on that, and once you let God get in here and change things. They get so much easier to do. Little things, which I'm kind of a prankster. I like to mess with people. But if I'm not messing with you, then that means I don't really care that much for you. If I do love you, then I'm going to mess with you. And you're going to ask my children. You're going to ask my girlfriend or fiance. If she heard me say girlfriend, sorry, April. You're going to ask my friends, my brothers, sisters, all of them. I'm gonna mess with you. It's what I do. Now, a lot of people, well, there's quite a few people that are actually like that. And what you got to understand is, if somebody's messing with you, you should be able to hear the tone in their voice and know whether it's just messing with you, or whether they really mean what they're saying, or maybe it's a combination of both. All of those are just fine. Because of these things, I've known what to look for in my life and in my attitude and in the way that I approach things by listening to, some of these comments. And some of them are half-truths, some of them are just plain, just straight up messing with you. But you learn to get a handle on that. But see, what you got to watch out for is the enemy will say, well, they meant that, when actually they probably didn't. So take time, take a step back. Take a step back and say, okay, number one, what am I afraid of? Why am I getting angry? Am I afraid of something? And if so, what is that? Number two, try and understand where the person that has made this comment or snapped at you or said whatever, try and look at where they're at. Get a good view of their situation. They may be under just a whole lot of stress, and if so, maybe just go a little easy on them. I don't know, do something for them. Not I don't know, cook them dinner. Bring home a flower. Just anything. You know this person better than I do. You know what would actually really touch them. Doesn't have to be like buying them a big gift, or sending a dozen roses or anything like that. It doesn't have to be. The big things don't mean as much in my eyes as the small things that we do, the way that we talk to each other, the way that we treat one another. But you also have to realize, what kind of personality the other one has, because there are people who need to get the other person straight in their head before they can know how to proceed with that. But it takes two to tango, people. And even if somebody comes at you with their teeth bared, that doesn't mean you have to bare your teeth back at them. I have found, as I said, it does not matter what other people think of you. Now, to a degree, it kind of does what the people that you love think about you. That's the harder one to do. People outside, I love them, but not as intimately as I love the people, in my circle, whatever. Those people I love super intimately, and they're closer, a lot closer, so they are more apt to be the ones that hurt me, whether it be accidental or even on purpose sometimes. But I try to take a look at where the anger is coming from in me, and where the anger is coming from in the person that I'm speaking to. So hopefully that helped a little bit. And these things just seem to run longer and longer. I'm looking at the time on here, and I went a little bit longer. Didn't mean to, and I apologize. I just really hope that, and if anybody has any questions, or something that they'd like my opinion about, or something that maybe I've been through or whatever, and has made me a better person because of it, whatever, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Any suggestions, any comments, please leave them below. I don't like to ask for follows because, well, let me put it this way. I'm kind of being selfish when I ask for you to follow me, simply because that way I don't have to individually send you all a link to it. You can follow me, you can find the link immediately. So there you go. And that's me being lazy. It's not me wanting attention or anything. So if you did get something out of it, then yeah, that's what you do, I guess. Anyway, love you all. Be blessed, and see you next time.